Tonight on News 5 Live, did the Briseno administration consider a compulsory acquisition of the 15-area parcel for the university hospital? Former Prime Minister Dean Barrow outlines the steps that should have been followed. A press conference in Indian Creek over an alcalde controversy. We'll give you the latest from southern Belize. And in tonight's episode of Culture Tuesday, we visit the Trench Town Masqueraders. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
The Public Utilities Commission continues to drive changes for Belize's utility and ICT sectors by creating new regulations and updating existing laws and rules to elevate the legal framework for water, telecommunication, and electricity. Overall, our work at PUC allows for better protection of consumers and the environment, a comprehensive integration of renewable energy sources into the national power grid, assures businesses continuity of utilities, promote competition and investments, and enhances national development in Belize. PUC, transforming the utility and ICT sectors by modernizing the regulatory framework.
Vacation in San Ignacio this summer with Sweet Songs Lodge. Relax by the infinity pool or tube the river and enjoy 50% off local rates on multi-bed and multi-bedroom units. WhatsApp us at 671-4977 to book your staycation through August 31st.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, August 20th. I am Sabrina Daly. The Briseno administration paid a whopping $6.9 million for 15 acres of land in Belmopan. as costly. While the purpose of the acquisition is for a public good, many are left to wonder whether the Ministry of Natural Resources could have gone about obtaining the land through other means. Earlier today, News 5 sat down with former Prime Minister Dean Barrow, who shared his thoughts on the controversial land purchase and the steps that GOB could have followed. We begin our newscast tonight with that one-on-one conversation.
There's no doubt that, in my mind, that's a legitimate public purpose. When government decides to acquire compulsorily for a public purpose, one of the things that the landowner can always question by going to court is whether the stated public purpose or the public purpose stated by government is indeed legitimately a public purpose. In this case, if you're talking about acquiring land for a public hospital, it seems to me that there is hardly any doubt that that constitutes a legitimate public purpose. The law actually says that when the minister declares something to be for a public purpose, that is, his declaration alone is prima facie evidence that it is for a public purpose. But prima facie means it is rebuttable. There's a presumption that it is for a public purpose, which the landowner can rebut. But in a situation where you're talking about a public hospital, it is hard to see how any successful argument can be made that that is not a legitimate public purpose. It's relatively straightforward. There is a Compulsory Acquisition Public Purposes Act, which has been used time out of hand for exactly the purposes for which the law is designed. So once there is a legitimate public purpose involved, the government has nothing to worry about in terms of acquiring private property. It is absolutely provided for under the law, and this is not anything peculiar to Belize. Any civilized, democratic, progressive society does afford that sort of right to a particular government. The public interest, the larger good, must be allowed to override the personal interests of individual citizens, so long as the individual citizen is going to be properly compensated for the dispossession of his or her property.
Former PM Barrow, himself a seasoned attorney, also outlined the steps that could have been taken to acquire the property in question, including compensation once the land had been vested in the Minister of Natural Resources.
The minister, no doubt, after consultation with his cabinet colleagues, decides that there's a piece of private property that the government needs to acquire. The minister will, having come to that decision, publish a declaration in the Gazette notifying of his decision to acquire the particular piece of property. That notification, that Gazette publication will contain all the necessary particulars. He must publish 2 declarations, but there's an interval of 6 weeks between the first and the second publications. That 6-week interval must be used by the minister to invite the landowner to negotiate, because it is always better if the acquisition can be done by way of a voluntary sale, which would make it then not a compulsory acquisition. More likely than not, while the minister or the authorized officer so designated by the minister must engage in that kind of good faith negotiation process, more likely than not it will come to naught, because no doubt the landowner is going to want far more for his or her land than the government would be prepared to give. But once the government has conducted or engaged in that sort of a good faith effort to see whether there can be a voluntary transfer for an agreed price, that doesn't work, then the minister publishes his second declaration after the intervening period would have elapsed. And immediately that second declaration is published, the land vests in the minister, in the government. And thereafter, it is just a matter of the government then carrying out the public purpose for which the land now vested in the minister or in the government, carrying out the public purpose for which that land was acquired. Of course, there's the question of compensation.
We also heard from the leader of the opposition, Moses Shine Barrow, on the government's decision to acquire 15 acres of roadside property for the construction of a new hospital in Belmopan. He described it as corrupt and outrageous. Barrow also revealed that the United Democratic Party will be joining a group of civilians that has organized a protest for Friday morning in front of the Prime Minister's office in Belmopan. Here is what he told us.
To me, this cannot be described as anything other than corruption. When you look at the fact that the parcels of land that are nearby, and this parcel of land, this 15 acres, was assessed by the Belmopan City Council recently at, I believe, $169,000 for one, because I believe it's 15 acres in two parcels, if I'm not mistaken, and then another 100 and odd, so for a total of 300,000. That was the assessment. Now, I don't know if that was corruption on the part of Belmopan City Council so that they could pay less on their taxes, but I believe that is the going rate, the market rate. So to go from the $300,000 to about $7 million is absolutely outrageous. But what makes it more outrageous is the fact that you have UB that has 800 acres that we would get for free. But what makes it even more outrageous is the fact that the Honorable Prime Minister came to the House of Representatives and said that the Saudi fund gave Belize $90 million in order to build a tertiary level hospital, and we're building it on the University of Belize campus, and it will be a teaching facility. And this is what was presented to the people of Belize, and this is what was passed in Parliament. So to now come back with the fact that, oh, there were feasibility studies and experts that came and said that it wouldn't make sense, no one is buying that. So to make the investment of 7 million or 8 million in the University of Belize to create the infrastructure, the necessary infrastructure so that you can have a hospital there, that would be the proper investment, because you're helping the constituency of Belmopan, you're benefiting the students and future students to come. That would be a benefit to Belize, to our national university for generations to come. This would have been a hallmark accomplishment for the Briceño administration. But this just shows how greedy, how gluttonous they have become.
The location of the proposed university hospital to be constructed in Belmopan continues to be a concern for both the public and governmental bodies. Initially, the hospital was to be built on the University of Belize property, but that was ruled out as an option by government officials. On Friday, Minister of the Environment, Orlando Hebet, told us that an assessment would be conducted on the property purchased by the government of Belize. The question of whether the smell or possible leakage is a risk for the safety of the hospital was raised, since there are sewage treatment ponds located near the land. Here's what Chief Environmental Officer Anthony Mai had to say.
We haven't received anything in the DOE. I haven't been given any details of the project per se, so it's difficult to say. And I'm very cautious about basically giving an opinion on something that I don't have critical information on. The way the Department of Environment works is we use scientific information to guide our decision, and only through the use of data can we give such an input. So at this point, I'm not too sure.
So I've read that there is the potential, possibility, likelihood, and danger of seepage of sewage ponds. And obviously there are different types and so, but you've never had any such concern from that particular one?
Not from that particular one. I think a component of that project is concrete in terms of pond. I know that an upgrade, we granted environmental clearance for an upgrade a couple of years ago, maybe 5-6 years. The upgrade included the installation of, I think, a dry bed, and I think they lined one of the ponds, and they also included UV light for disinfecting the waste before it goes into the environment. So there have been some improvement to that facility over the years.
Do you know how big they are?
I can't say from the top of my head, but we have the data in the office in terms of the size of the ponds, etc.
Coming up, Indian Creek villagers say away with MLA.
I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "For from you sounded out the word of the Lord, not only in Macedonia and Achaia, but also in every place your faith to Godward is spread abroad." The word sounded here means to echo, to resound, or to reverberate. I never hear my daughter play the piano that I do not think of this verse. In that piano, beneath the cover and below the strings, is what is called a sounding board. With her graceful hands, she strikes those ivory keys that in return strikes a string right above the sounding board, and the sounding board then simply takes that sound and amplifies it. And what you hear is simply an echo of the notes played. As Christians, our lives are to be simply echoing God's message of love, of faith, and of forgiveness. Sometimes that message becomes distorted by the way it is transmitted and echoed from our lives. It does not make any difference how accomplished a pianist may be. If the sounding board is not properly working, then the music is not right. Your life is either encouraging faith or discouraging faith. Make sure your life is truly echoing Christ's message of faith and hope to a world in desperate search of it. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Hey there, Digi customer. Are you ready to win? Download the DigiPoints app and start earning today. To download, simply search DigiPoints in your App Store or Google Play Store. Then click download or install. Once your download is complete, open the DigiPoints app to register. DigiGo account holders can then log in your DigiGo credentials. If you do not yet have an account, fill in your information in a few simple steps, and you're all set up. You will receive a verification code via SMS. Enter that code and begin to earn and win. Now being a Digi customer is better than ever. Download the DigiPoints app today.
It all comes down to this. KTV The Remix Season 6 finals are here. Your favorite contestants are battling it out for the grand prize of $10,000. Who will take home the crown? The competition is fierce, and the performances will leave you on the edge of your seat. Get your tickets at Channel 5 on Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center for just $5. And join us this Tuesday at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Or catch all the action live on Channel 5 and our social media platforms. Don't miss the showdown of the season. KTV The Remix Season 6. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
Every time I hear this music, I have to go on back. Tonight we are party, no worry about tomorrow.
Belize! It's the annual Sir Barry's Pelican Bash 2024. It's all going down at the Marion Jones Sporting Complex on Friday and Saturday, August 30th and 31st. Entrance is free. How much time I have to say free? The bashment starts on Friday at 6 p.m. Get ready for an insane lineup of talented artists featuring Jay Cass, Echo Middleton, Diesel the Don, Yastalia, Britney Starr, Stig the Artist, and more. We cap off the night with the Punta Youth, Voice of the One, UB, and the Vad One Band. On Saturday, we kick off the non-stop jamming from 6 p.m. to midnight with another amazing lineup featuring the Pan Tempters, the Garifuna Collective, Next Gen Band, Buster B Band, Kokuna Boy, Chica Ramos, Sweet Pain 3.0, and we sign off the night with the General Super G. The 2024 Sir Barry's Pelican Bash, giving back through music. Pelican, the beer of Belize.
Villagers of Indian Creek find themselves in the middle of a legal battle with the Maya Leaders Alliance and the Toledo Alcaldes Association. The underlying cause is that they're stuck between a CCJ ruling that binds them to tradition and the government system that allows them to develop. Today, the Village Council held a meeting to say that they reject the legal steps that the MLA has taken to reverse their election of an alcalde and deputy alcalde last November, and to reinstate the previous village officials who served in those capacities prior to then. Village Councillor Anselmo Cholom said the reason they chose new alcalde leaders was because the previous ones stuck to the doctrine of the MLA, which impedes development in their village.
The people, the people that are leading the Mayan people is dividing us in a way where they did not respect the decision of the community that happens at the community center. That's what we want to do about. And then to see that tradition that we're practicing. When I'm a Maya person, I practice traditions. That doesn't mean that I cannot get development. That doesn't mean that I cannot get a concrete building and stay within a thatch building. It doesn't keep me away from advancing. That's basically what I'm talking about.
But it's not that you want to detach or divorce yourselves from the communal land system that has been in a part of the tradition for decades, centuries.
Okay, yes, but if it is that the Maya leaders don't leave the community in Indian Creek, then what is the sense that we practice, that we are there? What is the sense if we don't want to, if they don't want to allow us for development? Because that's what basically the previous alcalde was doing, from not having development. So what is the sense to keep stuck in something that we don't want to move away? We have to give up. We have to give up on that. We cannot be being slave. We have to get out of that. And if we have to get out of a communal system because of that, then we have to change.
Following the election of Jose Choc and Felipe Sam as alcalde and deputy alcalde respectively, the Attorney General's ministry declared both men duly elected officials of the village. But he informed the villagers on August 15th of the MLA's civil suit challenging the installation of Choc and Sam. The women who spoke today, Jessica Ack and Sylvania Makin, vehemently opposed the reinstatement of the previous alcaldes and gave their reasons why.
I just want to ask, do you think that if these people come back in power, do you think that they will cooperate with the village council when we want development in our community? No! So this is the reason why we do not want these people. We want that Mr. Manuel Choc and Mr. Manuel Ack and Mr. Nicholas Choc to stay as alcalde and deputy alcalde.
If we bring back these old set of alcaldes, they will not work, they will not cooperate with our chairman. And I have seen it. And the beginning of this problem is not just today. It started when we were to bring when this prince was to come in this village. There is where the problem started. There is where this village is divided into two. And from that day forward, this MLA system is brainwashing these alcaldes that they want them back again. And we don't want these two sets of alcaldes in the village.
Indian Creek has a population of around 1,500 residents, and today's meeting had less than 100 persons in attendance. In no way did it reflect a majority position based on numbers. But Chalam assured that they have the support of the masses. Considering the possibility of a court ruling in favor of the MLA, one of the elders, Miguel Ack, shared a likely scenario since they refused to give up their current alcalde rulers.
We never had any issue within our Mayan community to go to a high court. If we have any issue within the Mayan, we solve it within the Mayan community center.
Hokanak sa school ko si Kamain. Mas kawan yo nakjo pingkato ang klao. Mas kawan yo ang sanak kono kakabsakit sa kaba na naman.
We can even end up killing each other if we continue with the MLA division.
Hokanak hanain sa kadila kon kati manakon ru kanakon.
Now is the time to make decision and resolve the matter.
Hokanak kon di alkal tanakon ma khalikhike.
Now the current alcalde, we will not change them.
38-year-old Brandon Bowen, a well-known street figure, walked away from a charge of abetment to robbery when he appeared before the lower court today. In June 2023, Bowen was accused of robbing the cashiers at Belize Healthcare Partners Limited of an undisclosed sum of money. This morning, in the presence of attorney Ellis Arnold, it was successfully argued that there was no evidence linking Bowen to the crime. With that, the charge was dismissed and he was free to go. Of note is that the identity of the other individual who participated in the robbery was never released, and no one was ever charged for the actual robbery. After the break, crossing the barrier between the deaf, mute, and law enforcement. But first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Let's take a journey through the core functions of the Social Security Board. It all starts with registering as an insured person, employer, or self-employed individual. Sign up for a portal account to manage your Social Security information online. Just provide accurate information and click Create. This will give you access to a range of services and benefits. Next, your contribution, along with investments and other income, are collected and distributed into 3 funds. This ensures that the SSB fund is securely utilized to support various benefit programs. The SSB is committed to providing essential benefits such as sickness, maternity, injury, and pension. These benefits are paid out to eligible individuals as a part of the Social Security coverage. We help you navigate through life's challenges with financial security. Annual surplus accumulates to grow the fund each year. This surplus is invested into various industries, contributing to the growth and development of our nation. With each passing year, the fund continues to grow due to the annual surplus and interest revenue earned from prudent investments. This surplus, along with reserves, helps to bolster the SSB fund and provide a safety net for those in need. We've arrived at the end of our journey to better understanding how the SSB works. We remain committed to serving you and building a secure future for all Belizeans.
This plan, I can't left this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers! We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
No, I can't left this plan. I can't left this plan.
Belize City Chicken Express, with spacious parking and air conditioning, has the widest variety of delicious chicken dishes to satisfy your every craving. You've been asking, and we heard you. Our Belize City branch is now open until 8 p.m. Chicken Express, with the unique taste of quality chicken.
It all comes down to this. KTV The Remix Season 6 finals are here. Your favorite contestants are battling it out for the grand prize of $10,000. Who will take home the crown? The competition is fierce, and the performances will leave you on the edge of your seat. Get your tickets at Channel 5 on Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center for just $5. And join us this Tuesday at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Or catch all the action live on Channel 5 and our social media platforms. Don't miss the showdown of the season. KTV The Remix Season 6. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
How can a precision-engineered and sustainably made tire change your world? A tire that gives you strength and safety when you need it most.
What we learn on the track, we innovate
For the road. Bringing next-level quality and reliability to every drive. At GT, we believe our tires can deeply improve the driving experience for each and every one of us, whatever our goals. Enjoy driving. GT Tire.
We understand that there aren't enough hours in the day. That's why RF&G is working to make the process of renewing your insurance policies easier. WhatsApp the words "Get Started" to 670-8700. We will prompt you to select the service you are interested in. Select the service and answer a few simple questions. An RF&G representative will process your request and follow up with you when your transaction is completed. It's that easy. Use WhatsApp and skip the lines. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
The 2024 Carnival season is in full swing. We are on the heels of the Miss Carnival pageant that took place on Saturday night inside the Belize City Civic Center. Soca Mocha was declared the winner in the senior mass band category. Jump Street Junior Band won in the junior category. With that event now behind us, carnival bands across the city are gearing up for upcoming events, including the highly anticipated Carnival Road March. Over the weekend, News 5's Paul Lopez visited the Trenchtown Masqueraders to get a glimpse into their practice session. He brings us that story in tonight's installment of Culture Tuesday.
For the past 13 years, Patricia Flowers has been leading the Trenchtown Masqueraders in St. Martin de Porres.
I've been dancing Carnival since I was 5. Then you know your kids grow up, you don't want to be in the same category, so I decided just to do my own because for the love of Carnival, you don't want to take it out of you.
We paid a visit to Flowers and her band during their practice session on Oleander Street in preparation for the upcoming Carnival Road March. The atmosphere was energetic. The revelers were fully engaged in their choreography. Several people from within the community were present simply to spectate and feed off the high energy.
The only thing that's changed with Carnival is people loving Carnival for being Carnival. I mean, back then, nobody fight over Carnival. Carnival, you could have me. Anybody could have stand up there, anybody ban, you could have do anything. But today, Carnival turned into a fight.
Over the years, the competition between carnival bands has become fierce, with huge sponsorship and coveted bragging rights on the line. Being declared the best of the best during the carnival season comes with its perks. Angie Pineda has been embracing the carnival spirit from the age of 10. Pineda's commitment to this carnival group has seen her transition from the junior to the senior band.
It feels very thrilling, very energetic. I feel so happy. I feel like it's like you're in a little bubble, like in your own little bubble. You're being your own person, and it's just something that I really love. It's like there's no negativity in it at all. So it's just a fun way that I can, so it's like it's just basically energetic.
Is there anything you have to do or you have to be a good reveler?
No, as shocking as it may look, if you just look at me, you wouldn't think that I could dance or anything. I've gotten that a lot. So when I was younger, it was the same way. I didn't know to dance really good. I had the idea of it, but it wasn't great. And they taught me, and so you don't have to be a great dancer. You don't have to be a dancer at all. We teach you, and you just come along, and you're going to be great. 2024
is the third year that Trenchtown Masqueraders is organizing a senior band. Many of the revelers, like Pineda, spent most of their childhood years competing at the junior level in this very group. Flowers decided to establish a senior section as a natural progression. We also engaged Chantel Serrano, another reveler, during our visit. As a true testament to the unity that exists within carnival bands, Serrano says she offers her time to assist where necessary.
When it comes to Trenchtown, we want to bring things the way it was back then, where it's not about what you wear. Well, of course, you want to look your best and everything, but we want to have fun. So what you can expect from Trenchtown is you're going to see the family bond. You're going to see everyone smiling, everyone having fun, clean fun, of course, because we have a lot of these girls that they work very hard. meaning that they have their job, they go to school. Our group is honestly consists of a lot of people who have a lot going on. So when they come out here, this is their free up. This is their release.
But the long-standing carnival culture that comes alive during the September celebrations is by no means perfect. When we interviewed band leader Patricia Flowers on Sunday, she was still distraught over the results of the Miss Carnival pageant the night before.
I mean, everybody just a kill love a carnival.
What do you mean by fight?
Well, fight literal, Facebook posts, bashing each other, after events, having fights. It doesn't make any sense.
How do you feel about that?
Frustrated, mad, and I can't even explain the rest.
Are you all deciding to compete this year?
Well, after last night, I have two minds because the fairness in Carnival also is dead. I used to be a quiet person, and after the years of Carnival, I can't be quiet anymore because what you see and the work you put in, I mean, fair is fair, we all work hard.
Is this the most frustrating year for you yet?
Actually, in the events, yes. In the part with sponsorship and others, so no, I'm used to it. Okay. I've been through tribulations, trials, drama, you name it all, I've been there and I've still come out Carnival Day.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
The Belize Police Department is taking steps towards inclusivity and accessibility by training officers in sign language. For 1 week, 30 officers from across Belize City will engage in valuable lessons so they can better communicate with deaf or hard of hearing victims and community members. Today, News 5's Brittany Gordon stopped by the Queen Street Police Station to see how the officers were doing on day 2 of the classes. Here's the story.
It's R-A-S-H-E-E-D, Rashid.
Upon meeting someone, a name is usually the first thing you learn about them. Sharing your name can be the beginning of a friendship, a relationship, and the beginning of trust. But for many people that are deaf or mute, they are unable to take that first step to establishing that connection with police officers because they are expressing it in a language officers do not speak. That disconnect is changing now that members of the Belize Police Department are learning how to speak sign language. ACP Howell Gillett, National Commander of the Community Policing Unit, spoke with us about the importance of making this effort.
We have the community policing officers and we also have the officers from the family unit. Those are the ones who take complaints of a sexual nature from victims. So it's important for them to be able to speak with these people who are have hearing impairment, who are mute. So if we are to truly be policing the entire population, we have to include those with special needs.
Whether someone is hurt or in fear is vital information for police officers to know. But the communication barrier between hearing officers and deaf or mute victims is difficult to overcome without an interpreter. This is especially challenging with small children who cannot write yet. With assistance from the Selamari School, officers are working to overcome this barrier. Sign instructor Erlet Thomas says that this is a challenge that has always existed for the community.
With the Ministry of Education for the past 30 odd years, and one of the things that we would sometimes we would get children or past students, youths who have been to the police station for a while, and because of the inability to communicate with them, they end up being there for a long while, and sometimes it's something simple that could have been solved just by communicating with them. So I think it's extremely important that the police officers learn how to communicate with people who are deaf, and also to identify when they are deaf so that they can, use whatever they need to use to get a message across to them.
After completing the initial phase of the training, officers will return in a few weeks for more advanced lessons.
We're trying to work with words that will suit the police department. So we're doing basic now. They're learning the alphabet and numbers because it's extremely important for you to learn your alphabet. If you can't sign something, you can spell it out, and the deaf person, will understand what you're saying, versus you just stand there and you do nothing. So you spell out the word, and then you can continue. Even if I am talking to someone who is deaf and I don't know the sign for the word, I can spell the word, or I'll tell them, sign that word for me, and they will sign the word for me, and we will continue with the conversation.
The officers have been receptive to the training, and the police sergeant in the Family Violence Unit is proud of the progress that she has made so far. She says that everything learned will be used to make her better at her job.
What's one thing that you've learned that stood out to you so far that you feel you'll be taking back into your job?
Everything. We're starting from scratch, and some of us were completely clueless, and so definitely everything.
Brittany Gordon for News 5.
A zoonotic disease is an infectious illness that has jumped from animals to humans. They can be transmitted in many ways, such as bacteria or parasites, but may even spread through unconventional agents such as food, water, or the environment. Today, stakeholders in the health sector and environmental organizations participated in a workshop with several regional partners to discuss 28 diseases that pose a threat to the region and identify how to tackle at least 5 primary concerns for the country.
We're gathered here with different stakeholders, of course, to look at what is the prioritization of diseases in the country. We're part of an entire membership within the globally of how we want to prioritize the different illnesses within our own country. Yes, we might be following different illnesses, but definitely when we start to look at the prioritization of illnesses, we can look at different agendas, we can look at the strategies that would be geared towards what we would call under the One Health approach. What this means is that we can now follow diseases, we can put into strategies and monitor these illnesses at the different levels within the different ministries. As we mentioned, we really cannot work alone when it comes to following illnesses and surveillance. It's basically a network. It's basically working under the One Health approach with the different ministries and agencies towards that goal.
Zoonotic issues is the transfer of disease from animal to humans, right? The idea is that everything in the environment is connected, and so as different disease comes up, emerge and spread, globally the scientists and the doctors are looking at the sources of those diseases, and several of those sources comes directly from the environment in terms of bacteria, microorganisms, animals, etc. that is within the environment. Basically, when the threats of urbanization and development expands, people become exposed to different things within the environment that they were not exposed to before. And so because of these threats, when exposure happens, normally disease could be transmitted from animals to humans through that means.
Recently, the World Health Organization announced that a new variant of monkeypox was identified in Africa. However, according to the Ministry of Health, none of the variants have been detected in Belize. Since the 2022 outbreak of the disease in the country, the ministry has kept an eye out for a possible re-emergence in Belize. We spoke with Russell Manzanero, director of the epidemiology unit at the Ministry of Health, about the possibility of acquiring vaccines in country.
It is a concern. I mean, August 14th, WHO did declare it a public health emergency of international concern, mainly because of the increase of cases within Africa. If you do understand, Mpox has different clades, sort of different variants. We have clade 1 and 2. When we had the first outbreak in 2022, which basically affected globally, we did see that scenario was based on clade 2. Now that we're seeing this increase of cases within Africa, that's a different clade, that's clade 1b. It has been sparking some interest there because of the outbreak of cases, especially among adults and children. And the concern there is that it is no longer a sexual mode of transmission, but now it has been moved now towards a more direct contact between individuals. Of course, the concern of why it became a public health emergency is because of the different limitations that you might see in Africa. Of course, you look at the impact it may have on the general population. You look at what the health system in existence is there. So definitely with movement, with people, then definitely you can have that potential spread to other parts of the world.
In terms of vaccination, so are there vaccines available? What's the likelihood and possibility of Belize actually getting?
I am certain that our management is looking at that option along with PAHO and WHO. But definitely before you start looking at vaccination procedures, you kind of want to look at the impact it's having on different countries. You know the availability is still limited. So right now they would start to look at the concerns within Africa. They would start to target that area, and if they can control it in those points, then of course transmission is lowered.
When we return, former party leader Dean Barrow shared brief thoughts on the embattled UDP.
Every moment of every day, crystal water is taste you can trust.
But the term of the administration, which promised everybody for win, is coming to an end, and they're still not bringing any relief to the masses.
I nearly fainted this morning when I got in a shop.
Cost of living continues to rise mercilessly, with government's excessive taxes on fuel, goods and services. Everything at the supermarket and vegetable market continues to rise.
$5.25 for a barbecue sauce now. For $3.50 for $4.95. No, $5.25. Next time when I go back, I bet it might be $5.75.
Food as basic as bread gone up.
The retail price, which has been held at $1.75 since about 2008, has been increased to $2.10 for a loaf of 16-ounce bread.
The very essence of life, water, just gone up.
Bottled water, right up to the 5-gallon, prices had increased.
Even tacos gone up again, now 2 for $1. And thanks to this government's failed energy policy, BEL is threatening to raise the cost of electricity on consumers. Briceño and the PUB have no mercy. Another term of them we cannot take. Elections are coming and they are going.
Over $500,000 can be yours. Yes, the Mega Progressive Jackpot is now at $545,025, and it can be won with a single $2 Mega Bingo ticket. Get yours and catch a live show this Wednesday, August 21st, airing on Channel 5 and Love FM at 8 p.m. or watch it live online on Facebook or YouTube. Just log in and search for Belize Mega Bingo. Don't miss your chance to win over $500,000. The jackpot is waiting, and it can change your life. And remember, Mega Bingo is the game.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't let this plan. I can't let this plan.
Last week, we told you about a group within the United Democratic Party calling itself the Alliance for Democracy. Well, the leader of the United Democratic Party, Moses Shine Barrow, says he does not acknowledge any factionalism or division within the party, including the alliance. As we reported, the alliance was formed by a group of UDP faithful intent on seeing Albert Area Representative Tracy Panton replace Barrow as party leader. Well, Barrow says that according to the party's constitution, any such alliance is prohibited.
Internally, we will address our matters. I just put on record, though, that any alliance is illegal according to our constitution. So I know that I see that I've heard that there's a campaign going on and people are going to media houses every day of the week talking about the Constitution, but then the fact of the matter is the Constitution, there's a part of the Constitution that totally prohibits factionalism, prohibits any type of alliances, any party within a party. It's prohibited by the Constitution. They call it factionalism and division. It totally is prohibited by our Constitution. And furthermore, the Constitution gives the National Convention the highest authority of the party. And I said that the last time, and I'll say it again. I was elected by the National Convention, not once, but twice. And the second time I was elected, the National Convention elected me to serve until the next general elections. So there is nothing that anyone can do about that. And my urge is for people to put their selfish ambitions aside and focus on the national issues that are hurting our Belizean citizens. There is no such thing as an alliance in the UDP. We have a united democratic party, so I don't acknowledge any factionalism or division.
And about their call for an NPC?
I don't acknowledge anyone other than a united democratic party, and the party chairman will deal with whatever letters he has to respond to. That is for the party.
Do you vouch for the character of the party chairman, who is being attacked personally as well, being accusations that he's biased?
The party chairman is an extraordinary person. All my colleagues that are focused on trying to win the next general elections, that's all we want to do is focus on our constituencies.
Former party leader Dean Barrow, who led the UDP from 1998 to 2020, shared brief thoughts on the chaos that has erupted within the party. While he refrained from casting blame, Barrow says that the internal strife that continues to plague the party does not bode well for a healthy opposition.
What are your thoughts about what's taking place with the United Democratic Party as of late, and the fact that we're less than a year away or so from the next general elections?
I prefer to not even think of it. It is extremely upsetting to anyone in this country who believes in democracy. I am not, of course, going to get into why the UDP is in the state it is in, or who is to blame. All I will do is to express the sincere hope, which seems ultimately to be nothing more than a kind of pious wish that somehow the party would get its act together and find a degree of unity that can restore some confidence in people that at least we have a functional opposition party, which is an absolutely essential requirement for a democracy.
Leader of the opposition Moses Shine Barrow returned home today after a visit to Jamaica, where he met with several key political figures and investors in that country. Barrow paid a visit to Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who is also the chairman of the Caribbean Democratic Union, of which the UDP is a member. Barrow also met with Jamaica's opposition leader Mark Golding, politician Lisa Hanna, as well as a billionaire investor Michael Lee Chin, to name a few. When we sat down with Barrow today, he told us that the purpose of his visit was to receive counsel from Prime Minister Holness ahead of Belize's general elections.
I personally met Prime Minister Holness maybe 2 years ago at the International Democratic Union Summit that we have every year in Washington. And I've stayed in touch along with he and former Prime Minister Chasney from St. Lucia, who is also a member of the Caribbean Democratic Union, former Prime Minister Keith Mitchell, Dr. Keith Mitchell, who is now the leader of the opposition. Chasney is now leader of opposition. We're all members, party leader members of the Caribbean Democratic Union, and the purpose of that collective is to do exactly what it is that I sought in Jamaica, to get counsel, to get advice as we approach the general elections. Holness has obviously won 2 consecutive terms, and he was Prime Minister when he took over for Prime Minister Bruce Golding, who had resigned. So he has a wealth of institutional knowledge as far as how to deliver the victories. So it was very important to meet with him and to get his guidance and strategize with him and just soak up and absorb all of that information that he has to offer as a senior parliamentarian and a very successful Prime Minister.
But it was the opposition leaders' meeting with Vybz Kartel that went viral on social media. The Jamaican dancehall recording artist was freed from prison a few weeks ago after spending 13 years behind bars in connection with the 2011 murder of Clive Lizard Williams. Kartel became a free man, and after only a couple weeks of freedom, UDP leader Moses Shine Barrow met with him in Jamaica. The musical legend endorsed Barrow's bid for Prime Minister and committed to visiting Belize in the coming weeks. Barrow explained that he visited Vybz Kartel along with UDP chairman Michael Parafit several years ago, while the artist was still incarcerated. He described the meeting this time around as moving. But there are critics who are of the view that it is not a good look for the leader of the opposition to associate with Vybz Kartel. We asked him for his thoughts.
To see the journey to freedom and to have been a part of that, because obviously when you go and you see someone held in captivity, you pray for them, pray for their family, you pray for their freedom. And to see that he has gotten his freedom, it is a testament of his resilience. And I believe it's something that all of us could learn from, especially the youth. I know a lot of the youth in Belize look up to him, even people my age, we grew up to his music. I'm 45. But it teaches, life teaches you whether you want to learn or not. And so innocence or guilt, I believe we go through these journeys, these challenges to learn lessons. And so my prayer and hope for him is that he would have learned whatever it is the universe wanted to teach him, and that he would be patient with himself. Obviously, we're musical brothers, and we have that camaraderie. He meant so much to me that I traveled to Jamaica to see him, and we stayed in touch. And so when I was visiting with the Prime Minister and other political figures and investors, I don't forget my roots, right? So it's not as if, because I'm a member of Parliament and the opposition leader, I will forget my music roots. Never.
we saw that he endorsed your bid for Prime Minister here in Belize. What does his endorsement do for your campaign?
You know, he also, he's in St. Vincent right now, and he met with the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, Ralph Gonzalez. I appreciate a friend being a friend, you know, but I have to do the work along with my colleagues. You know, we have to get 16 seats. So this is not the United States or other democracies where the people vote for their Prime Minister, vote for their president. But I appreciate his vote of confidence for what it is worth, but we have a lot of work here to do in Belize.
Critics, however, and I'd just like a brief thought on it, who said that a man of your stature who's vying for national leadership shouldn't be associating himself so closely with somebody who pushes this type of artistry that promotes vulgarity, lewdness, and even violence in some cases.
Yes, no, I believe in freedom of speech, and as I said, Prime Minister Gonzalez, who is a senior Prime Minister in the Caribbean from St. Vincent, just met with him. And so, no, I don't judge the artists. You know, I embrace artistry. I don't believe in restricting the creatives. I believe that it is the responsibility of the state to change the circumstances that a lot of these artists sing about. And if we change the circumstances, then they can't be popular because what they'll be singing about will not be a reality.
Up next, KTV The Remix R&B Night Inside the Bliss.
Do you know how to protect yourself against mosquito bites? First, eliminate mosquito breeding sites in and around the home. If you're in a place where there are many mosquitoes, dress in long sleeves clothes and pants. Use repellent on skin and clothing. Preventative measures are particularly important for pregnant women, newborns, and people with chronic diseases. If you sleep in an area where there are a lot of mosquitoes, use a mosquito net. Avoid visiting where there is standing water or accumulated garbage, as they can be breeding sites for mosquitoes. Share this information with your family and neighbors. Without breeding sites, there are no mosquitoes, and without mosquitoes, there's no dengue.
Having issues with low water pressure in your home? Well, the Goulds ResiBoost Compact Booster Pump System provides the solution you need. This system isn't just any constant water pressure system. It's a product of Goulds Water Technology's next generation engineering and design. This easy-to-install plug-and-play system is more reliable, more durable, and more efficient at ensuring strong, consistent water pressure throughout your entire household. Take your water pressure to the next level with Goulds ResiBoost. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
We all know about the phasing out of single-use plastics and the enactment of pollution from the plastics regulations. One of the key components in this regulation states that for an item to be considered biodegradable, it must consist of more than 50% of bio-based content. Here, you will find out how the Department of the Environment determines what items meet the criteria and what equipment is being used to guide that process.
Since 2019, the Department of the Environment has been working with CIFAS in doing microplastics. Through this project, CIFAS has donated 2 microscope Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy equipment to strengthen capacities on monitoring and enforcement to reduce marine litter and plastic pollution. The FTIR can be used to identify unknown materials. The Department of the Environment will use the equipment to determine the composition of single-use plastics and biodegradable products to enforce the environmental protection, pollution from plastics regulations.
While we have a long way to go with the implementation of the pollution from plastics regulation, having this equipment is one step closer. For more information on what's being done about biodegradables and ways you can help, visit our website at www.doe.gov.bz.
it all comes down to this. KTV The Remix Season 6 finals are here. Your favorite contestants are battling it out for the grand prize of $10,000. Who will take home the crown? The competition is fierce, and the performances will leave you on the edge of your seat. Get your tickets at Channel 5 and Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center for just $5. And join us this Tuesday at 8 p.m. at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Or catch all the action live on Channel 5 and our social media platforms. Don't miss the showdown of the season. KTV The Remix Season 6. It's hot, it's live, and it's only on 5.
Let's all be safe during the rainy season. Belize Electricity Limited reminds you that heavy rains can cause flooding in your neighborhood and on roads. Avoid driving or walking in flooded areas, which can have hidden dangers such as debris and fallen power lines. Belize Electricity Limited cares about your safety. Please stay safe.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a Lone Ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
In late June, San Pedro welcomed its own office for the Department of Environment. There, the DOE conducts several duties such as managing natural resources, preserving and protecting the environment, and controlling pollution. Today, Chief Environmental Officer Anthony Mai provided an update on the duties of the station, and he told us that it has been a great success.
There are several issues that we have dealt with in San Pedro. So again, the San Pedro substation is our first attempt at decentralization. It is critically important, we thought, to have an office in San Pedro because it's the fastest developing kind of municipality in Belize. And so we've been there for a couple months now, and over that period we have definitely dealt with some serious issues, maybe 4 or 5 of them. We currently have one in the pipeline.
Have people been prosecuted, or are you in the works to prosecute them?
Yes, we're in the process of prosecuting a few persons. So we also are so enforcement and prosecution is just one aspect of what we're doing on the island. We have also been providing advice to the town council and the Kikaka Village Council in terms of some of the development plans, etc. And we are participating in some sensitization or training and etc., sharing of information in relation to the environment. So it's much more than just hardcore enforcement, compliance monitoring. We're doing other support activities as well. But yeah, we do have some enforcement-related matters in the pipeline.
Last week, the Briceño administration broke ground for the construction of the Dangriga Multi-Purpose Park. This park is designed to offer several amenities for recreational activities. However, there are concerns that the size of the park will pose a threat to the environment due to possible erosion of the coast. Chief Environmental Officer Anthony Mai says that the proposal will be adequately evaluated.
Yes, it does. And in fact, we've been in discussion to ensure that this type of project, in fact, this one in particular, comes through the environmental clearance process. At this point, we were told that the project is being conceptualized and everything, and so there's a time when the proposal will come to the DOE for environmental evaluation.
Even though they already have a design?
Yes, indeed. So that's the first step. You need to have the design, but you need to conceptualize what the design will include in terms of operations, right? And so when they have all of that together, they will come to us for environmental clearance.
You all don't have anything to do with the erosion aspect, or you
well,
to
some
out of that too? Because one of the questions is, you are suffering from erosion, have suffered it from in the past. So how do you create such a huge development there?
Indeed. So the erosion issues, it's not a singular agency that deals with it. So the Department of Environment have some input to it. The mining unit, etc., has some input to it. Coastal Zone Management Authority. Collectively, we look at these things. In the past, we had conducted a study by some support from the Cuban government. We have a good report with recommendation on what is affecting the erosion within that area. In fact, currently we have draft terms of reference that we will finalize soon, where we want to expand the project and the assessment that the Cubans did to understand the erosion that is affecting the Placencia area and all the way down to Monkey River. When we've met with the experts from Cuba, and what they had recommended to us is they said, listen, rather than doing this thing piecemeal, let's do an assessment of the entire coastline. Now that comes at a cost, and so we are at the process where we are contemplating if we need to expand the terms of reference to include the entire coastline, and we need to discuss the cost of doing so, because the current terms of reference that we have for Placencia and for close to the Monkey River area, the cost of doing such an assessment is considerably high, and so we're kind of weighing that in relation to having finances to do that or versus doing the entire country. But it's a concern, and we are discussing it. There are discussions going on at the moment in relation to that.
The final showdown for KTV The Remix Season 6 is here. Tonight, the top 3 contestants from this season will battle it out to see who will take home the $10,000 grand prize next week. You certainly do not want to miss tonight's live show inside the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. The music genre for tonight is R&B. It all goes down at 8 p.m. We spoke with producer Vianney Reyes about what can be expected.
The songs are locked in. Choosing the song is their decision. We don't have any say. We do give them ideas. The coach works with them. Also, the judges would probably give ideas as well too of this song matches your voice. But they have some songs that I think majority of the public would know. So they're singing 2 songs tonight, one from the genre and also another song that they selected of any genre tonight. To gain that additional 10 points or 5 points or whatever points they might receive from the judges. So tonight is a night where we will see who will make it to the top 3, which is the finale of next week.
Tell me, finally, why should people come out tonight to the live shows?
It's very different than what you see on live TV. One, you get to win great prizes, of course. Who wouldn't want to win free stuff at the show? It even sounds different, to be quite honest with you. And just the ambience in there and the joy of being with the contestants. You get to see a couple of the behind the scenes. And also we have the halftime challenge, where we invite people on stage to be a part of that. That's also a part of the live TV as well too. You get to see that live, but you also get to participate. And you never know what you could win when you're there at KTV. You can purchase your tickets here at Channel 5 and also at 88 Shopping Center or 6 o'clock p.m. at the Bliss. So be sure to get your tickets. It's only $5 per person. The earlier you come, the better. You get better parking and better, seat selection as well too.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, good night.